You've worked hard on your website or you've paid somebody to build it for you, and you have great offers, solid content, and even testimonials. But the problem is most visitors never scroll. In fact, studies show that your audience decides whether to stay or leave in just 3 to 5 seconds. So if your website doesn't immediately answer the right questions and create instant clarity, they're gone, no matter how great your content is below the fold. In this episode, we're talking about how to make those first 5 seconds count. And I'll also share one small headline tweak that helped a client instantly reduce the bounce rate and increase click-throughs without changing anything else on their website. Let's dive in. Struggling to turn website traffic into real sales? You're not alone, and you don't have to figure it out all yourself. Welcome to Smarter Online Business, the podcast for course creators, coaches, and e-commerce entrepreneurs who want their websites to convert visitors into buyers without the tech overwhelm. I'm your host, Carrie Saunders, a website strategist and conversion expert with over 20 years of experience. Each episode delivers simple, proven strategies to help you generate more revenue and make your website your smartest sales tool. Welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about your website's first 5 seconds and what visitors decide before they even scroll. And how do we fix that? How do we get them to scroll? So the first 5 seconds matter because most people scan before they read. We're all busy. We want to have as little decisions as needed. And so we have lots of decision fatigue. So we're really quick at scanning things. It's just like out in the real world. You scan the aisles of a grocery store. You may be at the mall and kind of scan through the windows before you decide to go into a shop. You're scanning all the time. You're scanning for danger. You're scanning for everything. And that doesn't change when we're on a website. And first impressions form instantly, especially online and even offline. So your homepage is your digital storefront window. We want to make it very clear who it's for and how it benefits them. So think of those windows that you walk by in the mall and just don't go in. Maybe they're too cluttered. Maybe they have too many things, too many different kinds of things for sale. Maybe you're looking for shoes, but yet they sell all kinds of things. And so you kind of doubt whether they'll have the shoes that you want. So they're being very generic and very vague and not specific. Hey, we concentrate on shoes, for example. So we want to make sure that our websites are conveying really quickly what we sell and who we're for and why they should matter. And if they're confused, uncertain, or uninterested, they will just leave. And that's called a bounce rate, where they land, don't stay, and just leave right away without clicking around or scrolling. So what do those visitors need immediately? We've kind of alluded to a few of them, but I want to make sure this is a bit formal. They need to know who it's for, who is your website for, what it helps them to do, become, or solve. How does it benefit them, basically? What is the benefit of staying on your website? And what do they need to do next? They want clear direction. They don't want anything to be vague. We have so much decision fatigue. It goes way back to the earlier days, but we even have more decision fatigue now. We're bombarded all the time with new information, with the internet and our phones and all the things that we can look or see or hear or listen to. So what do you want them to do next? We want to make sure this is super duper clear. So how do we do this? So we want to do this with the main headline. It needs to be very clear and help state who the website's for and what it helps them do or what benefits it is to them and what's their next step. So you can do this with the headline. You can also support that with the subheadline and then any image that might support the idea that you're trying to convey. And then you want to have a clear call to action button. All of this needs to be above the fold. That is before they scroll, whether it's on mobile or whether it's on desktop. That needs to be super duper clear or they're just seriously going to leave. We see this happen all the time. We helped one client recently change their heading from welcome to business name to something more clear, helping business moms reclaim their time with systems at work. Suddenly, visitors stayed longer and opted in more. Most people don't care about your brand name unless they're a brand fan of yours. They want to know what you do and how you help them. So again, instead of welcome to your business name, we change it to something like helping busy moms reclaim their time with systems that work. So this states who it's for: busy moms. What are we helping them? What is that transformation? We're helping them reclaim their time with systems that work. Very, very clear as to what this website's for. So what do we not want to do about the fold? We talked about what we want to do. What do we not want to do? We don't want to have vague or generic headlines. Welcome, home, learn more. Now, home can be a link at the top, but it needs to be like a subtle link at the top across the bar. That's typical to have that up there. But any welcome or learn more type of wording is very, very vague. It's very generic. We want to go back to like talking to the person that you're trying to serve and how you're trying to help them. We also want to have a very clear call to action. What do you want them to do next? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to buy your product or service? Have you created that faith in your website yet to do that? What is that next step? Think about it like you're trying to explain what you do to your best friend and they don't know anything about what you do, but you think what you do is going to help them. How would you talk to your best friend about it? Usually when we talk to our friends about something we love, a product or a service we love, we talk about how it benefits you, how it benefits your life, how it makes things easier or better or simpler or faster. We talk about those benefits. So use that sort of language at the top of your website. We also don't want a cluttered design or a slow website. This is so easy to do. We want to make sure it's not cluttered. We want white space. Think about walking into a store or maybe into somebody's home. Let's go to somebody's home. Maybe they have a ton of pictures all over a wall, right? Maybe they have like 25 or more pictures on a wall. They're showing off their kids. It's great for them, right? But there's no place to land. Like there's so many things to look at. You don't know which picture to look at first. It might be beautiful pictures of their children and their family, but you don't know which one to look at first. When we have white space in our real lives, as well as on the web, we have places for our eyes to land. It creates calm. We want to have that white space. We don't want it to be cluttered. Let's go to a grocery store, for example. I've been in grocery stores where everything's like everywhere and you feel like you're super crowded and crunched in and it can feel very claustrophobic. But there's this balance of having enough product out and too much product out. We want to have those white spaces where we can land on specific things with our eyes and with our scanning. So making sure our website's not cluttered is very important. Have that white space. Make it easy for the eyes to land on that call to action button. Make sure there's not a whole bunch of stuff around it. And then slow loading time. If your website's slow, they're just going to leave. They don't have time for it. It creates more decisions as to, is this a good enough website to stay or go, or what should I do here? So slow loading times can either create impatience, mistrust, or they just are confused and just leave because they don't want to wait to figure out what's going on. And another thing we want to avoid is using industry jargon. We want to use clear benefits instead. Industry jargon is really only appropriate in very, very, very small, places on the internet. When that's what you're selling to is people who use that jargon. Most of us, though, are not going to want to use industry jargon because we're trying to attract somebody who needs our services, not already does our thing, right? So our rule of thumb is we want to make sure that our audience feels seen and guided in under 5 seconds. Really fast. It's got to be really fast or we're going to lose them. So one thing we'd love to do here at BCC is we love to help people's websites convert better. And so if you're wanting to make your homepage or a specific sales page more effective, we do this a lot inside the Converting Website course. And it's just not a course where you watch videos and, learn. We are there with you with live support, helping you digging in and looking at your website copy, making sure it is there and converting and speaking to who you're trying to speak to. We love looking at home pages, landing pages, sales pages, product pages, and we want to make sure that we are stopping the scroll, building trust, and actually leading them to action. And that's what we do a lot in the Converting Website course with the live support that we have with it. And if you want more information on the converting website course, just head on over to smarteronlinebusiness.com/TCW. So I have that bonus tip for you, and I want you to try this out after you're done listening to this episode. Put it on your calendar if you can't do it today or right after listening. I want you to do the blink test. Seriously. I want you to pull up your homepage and ask a friend or team member to glance at it for 5 seconds. And then I want you to ask them, who is this for? What problem do they solve? What am I supposed to do next? If your friend or teammate can't answer those, neither can your visitors. And that means you need to revise what you have on your website. And fixing this section could be the easiest conversion win on your website and will help you produce way more sales. That's all we have for this week's episode of the Smarter Online Business Podcast. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you'd be so kind, we would love it if you rated us on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app, because that helps spread the word and help other business owners just like you get great website tips to help it be a sales machine for them. And we will see you next week.